7 years later, in 933, Czaslaw managed to free himself and with 4 reliable knights reached Serbia. Allegedly, he found there only 50 people who lived off hunting. Porphyrogenitus certainly did not mean to say that there were only 50 people living in the entire Serbia, but thus tried to convey the destruction of the whole country. It seems that Czaslaw's coming to power was also a consequence of the Byzantine diplomacy. Byzantium was at peace with Bulgaria from 927. This state of affairs will last until 969. However, in the meantime, other enemies arrived, Hungars. Across the Bulgarian territory, they endangered Byzantium as well. Thus, it seemed that it would be useful to re-establish Serbia as a Byzantine ally, which would protect the borders from the warring Hungars far away to the north. These were probably the reasons that led to the decision to acknowledge Czaslaw as the ruler of Serbia. The Byzantine emperor organized himself the transport of Serbs from Bulgaria who gathered in Constantinople, helped them financially, and sent them to the Serb Duke. Thus, Czaslaw was accepted by Byzantium as the legitimate Serbian ruler, and he undoubtedly helped settling matters in Posavlje and Podunavlje by putting an end to Hungarian intrusions. The priest of Duklja also wrote about Czaslaw's rule. He mentioned in particular his battles against Hungars in the Drinska Župa, where he crushingly defeated them near the present-day Foča. During further war against Hungars in Srem, Czaslaw was captured and executed during a night raid. Some later historical sources claim that he was executed together with his sons. Thus ceased to exist an ancient Serb dynasty which led Serbs to the Balkan Peninsula. In the meantime, Mihailo Višević, who was for a long time regarded as the Bulgarian ally and Byzantine enemy, also changed sides. After 926, when Serbia was temporarily occupied by Bulgarians, and when Bulgarians reached his own borders, Mihailo took the side of Byzantium. From there, he received the high titles of Patricius and Proconsul, and already in 927, as a Byzantine ally, attacked and took from the Arabians Seapont on the South Italian coast. We can assume that by death of the Archon Czaslaw, Serbia reached turbulent times, which will, in the long run, determine the development of smaller Serb dukedoms in the direction of their independent political life, and permanently influence the fragmentation of the Serb lands. This is probably the time period from which Bosnia becomes independent, arising from the primary core of the Serb lands. Around 950, she was still part of Serbia, but became independent in the next few decades. The key to these dramatic changes that will make a permanent mark on political ambivalence of Serb lands is the disappearance of an old dynasty which was one with the country. Without a dynasty there is no state, for as a matter of fact, the dynasty is the state. This rule of the governing family and the state vanished with Časlav's death. In the mid-10th century, Serbia reached difficult times when Župans administered their areas without a central authority. From this time, we could date the rise of the area around Ras as one of the most significant territorial units of Serbia. The priest of Duklja adds to our knowledge of these times with some popular folklore and legends, which he incorporated into his annals. He believed that, after Časlav died, the area of Raška was governed by Tihomir as the Grand Župan, and that other Župans were fully independent from the central authority. Soon after this time of anarchy, a new rise of Bulgaria began in 976. Under Samuil, against whom Byzantium will be at war for half a century, and which will leave its mark on the Serb lands.